placed at the bottom, and then there will be a wooden plank cover it. And afterward, there will be also further covered by the linings. And as you can imagine, when you open the suitcase, basically it's just not very normal.
The suspects had also placed men's suits on top of the drugs to mislead officers, telling them they were taking the clothes to sell in the Philippines. Officers found the false compartments when they decided to inspect the suitcases more thoroughly because they appeared to be heavier than other luggage of the same size. ICE can fetch 2 or 3 times more in the Philippines, so the confiscated drugs could have been sold for as much as $25 million. The suspects, one claiming to be a logistics worker and the other an accounts clerk, were arrested for drug trafficking. Emily Sue, ATV News.
A women's group has urged the government to ensure that family dispute cases are followed up thoroughly to prevent tragedies.
The call was sparked by the case of a man accused of killing his girlfriend and 2 children last week. ATV's Bo Lang reports.
After he was taken to hospital in a critical condition last Friday, 38-year-old Zhang Wenji did not appear at Eastern Court this morning. The prosecution told the judge that the mainlander is still being treated for a hand injury. Zhang was charged with the murder of his girlfriend and their 2 children, whose bodies were found in their public rental flat in Shao Kei-wan. The case was adjourned until the 2nd of August, and Zhang was remanded in police custody. The bodies of the 34-year-old woman and the children, aged 8 and 9, were discovered when firefighters broke into a flat at Oitong Estate after a suspected gas leak. Zhang was found unconscious in bed with a slashed wrist after an apparent suicide. Police took away a blood-stained hammer and knife from the flat. The tragedy has prompted a concern group to urge social workers and police to strengthen their monitoring of domestic disputes. The Hong Kong Association for the Survivors of Women Abuse says the case showed how ineffective current policies are in dealing with domestic violence and disputes. The association noted that police were called to the same flat in April when the couple had a heated argument, but the dispute was settled. The case was then referred to the Social Welfare Department, but the association claimed there were no follow-up home visits. Association spokeswoman Chung Yun-yi said according to guidelines for social workers, the case should have been followed up within 7 days and then a month later to check on progress. The association accused social workers of not being alert enough and urged better training to identify problems in families. It also called on the government to come up with a better system to deal with domestic violence and set up a one-stop centre to handle such cases. Bo Lang, ATV News.
A man has stabbed 3 people to death and injured 5 others in yet another knife attack on the mainland, this time in Shenzhen.
The motive for the rampage is unknown, but the man is said to be mentally ill. This camera phone footage shows the suspect holding off police in a tense standoff after the stabbing spree in Shenzhen. Police in the special economic zone just across the border from Hong Kong received a call from a passerby at 9:45 a.m. that a man was stabbing several people in Luohu district. Officers managed to subdue the suspect and arrest him before taking him to hospital for treatment to wounds that were self-inflicted. State media said the man left home this morning, rushed into a roadside restaurant, seized a knife, stabbed the owner and then attacked passers-by. The 41-year-old suspect, identified only by his surname, He, is a Guangdong native from Jieyang. His motive is unknown, but state media reported that he has a history of mental illness. The incident is the latest in a series of knife attacks in the last few weeks on the mainland. Last week, a man in the southern region of Guangxi stormed an office enforcing China's one-child policy, stabbing 2 officials to death and wounding 4 people after a row over his offspring. Still to come on ATV's main news tonight. Japanese Vice Foreign Minister in Beijing in bid to mend ties hit by maritime disputes.
Manny Pacquiao and Knicks challenger Brandon Rios visit Great Wall to promote forthcoming bout.
Join ATV Mr. Asia Contest 2013.
So come join the ATV's Mr. Asia 2013 contest.
Conquer the world.
You can be the man. Come and join ATV Mr. Asia Contest 2013.
It's this unbelievable product that everyone tries to win. It's fantastic.
It's the cradle of the world's top soccer teams. Over the past 2 decades, the massive craze has swept all over the world. Its history is a legend,